You can kill me, but you will never destroy me. It takes strength to resist the dark side.
Throughout heaven and earth, I alone am the honored one.
Are you kidding? Why the hell should I wait for you?
I know what it's like to try and rebuild a life. I had a bad day too, once.
If you're having nightmares, then welcome to the club. My name's Subaru Natsuki, and I am the Knight of Amelia.
Right now, all I can give you is just death.
It wasn't for you in particular.
You fought 100 men because it's not in your nature to run away.
If you are feeling disheartened, that you are somehow not enough, set your heart ablaze.
Okay. What an interesting... I was going to start the night off strong, but it looks like because of my internet connection and because of StreamYards, it does not want to let me off scot-free. And I am completely hooked on technical disasters for the beginning of this. Welcome to the 51st episode of this shenaniganery. I don't even know what to call it. And, I mean, there have been a couple of things that have now changed since the last stream. The most notable of which is the fact that I have started streaming on Twitch as well. So that's going to be a thing going forward. I figured I might as well take advantage of the multi-streaming and all of that kind of stuff. So yeah, that may partially attribute to the fact that my little opening segment didn't go very well. Anyway, tonight on the docket, if you haven't seen any of the posts I've made, the idea for what we're going to cover and what we're going to be talking about is some posts made about the Frieren anime, some not so good posts, not very intelligent, the return of stuff like actual Kyoto Animation projects, some new stuff that's been announced, or some like weird manga, light novel kind of things that have been announced, as well as some various other topics to cover. But before we get into any of that, we are going to start the night off with a recap. And I've been doing a lot of reading lately. I have watched plenty of stuff. I've finished off some of the summer watch list this week. And I have some thoughts on that. I also posted my latest video talking about Alia sometimes hides her feelings in Russian and why I particularly like that series and some thoughts I had on it. But reading is a lot of what I did the most of. So this week, I read all of Wotakoi. So that's a thing. And I liked that series. It is effectively the what happens if two otaku end up dating each other. It's kind of scattered. It doesn't really have like a straight story to it like some other romance would. Looks like it was written in like segments as the author decided they wanted to approach certain subjects, because even chapters that are connected continuity wise are interrupted by random breaks and stuff. It's either way, I did end up really enjoying the characters. I'm glad I finally sat down and read through the whole thing. It was very good. All in all, I would probably give it like an 8. I enjoyed the manga. The other one that I've been reading quite a bit of is One Room Hero and Level 1 Demon Lord. maybe I've got that the other way. Maybe it's the other way around. A level 1 demon lord and 1 room hero. Either way, the story of a disgraced hero who went on a Dr. Disrespect arc for a bit, and now the whole world hates him. Well, the demon lord he vanquished 10 years prior has returned, only to find his old enemy is in a sad, miserable state. So they're not actually going to fight each other. They're just kind of, yeah. Honestly, I did not expect to like that one as much as I do, but I feel like it's surprisingly charming is the only way I could describe it, because ooh. Well, I mean, aside from the art style being somewhat like Akira Toriyama-ish, sorry, getting distracted. As always, distracted by notifications and messages I get right in the middle of the stream. The art style reminds me a little bit of Akira Toriyama, but the story and character dynamics are good. I wouldn't say like particularly masterful. And I find it overall very enjoyable. So, all around, as far as I rate it, pretty good. So I've been finishing off a lot of the blue tags on my shelf. I keep track of what I have and haven't read up there with like blue little I don't know what you call them, like the little like post-it note-esque sticky little I'm blanking on the word for it. Either way, I'm sticking them to the spine of the book for the ones I have and haven't read, just so I don't lose track of where I am. Oh, I read a volume of Solo Leveling as well, which was interesting. I'm now through volume 8. I think that's about it. I already talked about wrapping up all of my Re:Zero Arc 6 reading. So let's begin where we left off last week. And that is with our tier list. So this is where we were as of last week when I talked about what I had watched and all that. And I've added a new category. I'm still dealing with some sickness. I apologize. It's been lingering with just a fucking cough for weeks now. For 2 fucking weeks, I've had this cough. Anyway, I put that here because Dead Demons, Dead Destruction interests me, but after the first episode, I feel like I'm going to put it on the backlog because I don't particularly find it intriguing enough to want to continue right off the bat, especially when I have so much else to watch. So we will start from the top. Honestly, when I've caught up on Oshinoko and Makeine, I am as far as the anime has gone. Excuse me. And they are constantly like neck and neck as far as how much I enjoy them. They are both fantastic, really well-developed stories with well-developed characters. Well, last week we finished Shoshimin, and I do enjoy that, but having finished Alia-san Hides Her Feelings in Russian, I'm going to put it back in that number 3 slot. And here's why. A lot of the characters ended up being very deceptively intricate. And I just did a recent video about Yuki Suo herself, which I would hope people would go watch that and then look in the comments for all the light novel reader comments that have been left there, because there was a bit of speculation in that video that I did get wrong, and they add important context, but there is spoilers. So that pretty much wraps it up for this category, because I have not caught up on Wistoria or the Elusive Samurai, but I have thoroughly enjoyed both. In this category, consistently the best entrant is the Magical Girl and the Evil Lieutenant used to be arch enemies. Like, consistently one of the best in the very good category. It's one of those like fluff series that still does a really good job of developing its characters and giving them and putting it on the bone for their personalities and everything about them. It does a better job of endearing you to the characters than some other entrants to this series. All right. Sorry, I just tabbed over to check something. Oh. And we're back. So I have not caught up on No Longer Allowed in Another World. I do enjoy this series. It has been very, very good. But I just haven't caught up on it. I parry everything. I feel like there's one more episode I have to watch. I didn't quite catch that. I'll probably have to do that after the stream. I think there's one more episode of VTuber Legend that I have to watch. Pseudo Harem I actually finished today. And this is one that I actually have to move. Because at the halfway point of this series, it becomes very one note. It is the same thing consistently. It is just Eiji and Rin flirting the whole time. And I don't think that in and of itself makes for a good show. No matter how sweet it is, it's flat. Okay? Take a swig, boys. Take a swig. And that's really my issue with it, is the characters for this particular series have not been very exciting to me. Like, it is a good fluff series. I will give it that, okay? 10 out of 10 fluff. But very much 5 out of 10 everything else, because frankly, the character writing, the story writing, not good whatsoever. A lot of people are like are obsessed with this series for some reason. I can't really see what the deal is with it. I found it very boring. And then the next one in the very good category that we have to deal with is, of course, my dear friend Noko-tan. I don't know why I blanked on that. And I'm putting that down in just interesting. And it's largely for the same reason as I have said Pseudo Harem dropped off. After the novelty of both these series wears off, they become far less interesting and far less fun to watch. With Noko-tan in particular, it becomes an issue of the gags feel like the same thing over and over and over again. It is always like the same deer joke multiple times. I've gotten to episode 9 out of 12 now. I still need to wrap this up, but I understand the fall off. I don't think it fell off for me as hard as Pseudo Harem. I've still enjoyed it. There's been the like occasional small little thing that has been in there that really did intrigue me. But otherwise, it has felt largely boring and not very fun. With that said, I think that pretty much wraps up the recap for this week and everything that I've watched and caught up with. And there are some other things I did end up watching this week. That I guess I should add, but I can't really put them on this list because I don't think they're season. I don't think they can really be counted as seasonal. So I guess we'll move into that. We'll pull that down. So there are two other really big ones that I checked out. One being Terminator Zero earlier this week, and that's why I didn't fully catch up on everything. That and working on the video and a bunch of other stuff that I do in the background. Terminator Zero feels like someone trying to make the best out of a terribly shredded IP. And I mean absolutely terribly shredded. Because what was good about the old, like the original, like 3 Terminator movies, and I say good loosely because I know everyone is mostly focused on T2, the T1 and 2. 3 can be a little dodgy depending on who you ask, but what really made Terminator 1 and 2 succeed is long gone. They have since made the timeline and the world far too convoluted. They have overcomplicated everything with time travel and this constant battle of back and forth with other characters, between like the machines and the humans, jumping back in time and all of that. Yeah, it's honestly not very good. I found myself struggling to complete it because half the time, half the cast are time travelers. Okay, um, and one character spends quite literally half the series um inside a like AI brain chamber, talking to an AI, trying to convince it that that it should save humanity and that humans are worth putting in the effort to save. And I just, it was a lot of moral pontificating, and the writer clearly didn't do a whole lot of research into any sort of philosophy on that subject because the AI starts going off about how war is what separates humans from animals. Um, and completely ignores the fact that ants and primates regularly go to war with each other. War is a thing in the animal kingdom. It was a lot of it focused on like these children who were mostly unlikable brats for the entire series. And yeah, it was a disaster of bad character writing, of bad storytelling, all to the point of trying to make a commentary on humanity out of a series that was really just supposed to be a an action flick. On top of that, the original sort of suspense and tension that the Terminator had doesn't work very well in an animated format. A lot of like these slower scenes that made the Terminator feel so like tense and suspenseful just feel dragged out in the anime, and uh, it's a slog. So all of that contributed to me not being very impressed with Terminator Zero, which I don't think anyone particularly has been, but there was a brief period there where people were talking about Terminator Zero being good. I disagree. I think it actually kind of sucked. And I don't care who says otherwise. But now that we're done with that, I can talk a little bit, and I'll probably go over more in detail when my co-host shows up, if he shows up. But I finished the first season of Tokyo Ghoul this week, and honestly, first 11 episodes just kind of okay. Like, they were good enough to keep me watching. Like, I was invested in the world enough to be like, okay, I'll watch the next episode. Like, I wasn't bored by any means throughout the entire first season, but it wasn't living up to the hype. And then episode 12 fucked me up. Like, holy shit, episode 12 was one of the best things that I have ever watched in anime. So, yeah, I can only say that I'm very happy that I actually went through it and checked it out, because it ended up being a very fun, a very good experience for an anime. But that kind of wraps up everything I want to touch on for the beginning of the stream and the recap of, what I've been reading, what I've been watching, and gonna try and finish out the summer gonna try and finish out the summer anime tonight, tomorrow, after the stream. There's some little odds and ends and stuff that I still have to get caught up on, but I think it's mostly wrapped, and I'll probably do a brief recap video of my thoughts on everything that has come out this season here soon, before I move into talking about some of the stuff that's kind of happening here that I'm going to cover right now, actually. So, he's back, ladies and gentlemen. He is back. I don't know what it is about streaming that usually makes me like stuffed up, but it certainly doesn't help. It certainly doesn't help. Okay. Back on track. Let's get back on track. I need to pull this tab up because I was closing some stuff out to try and help mitigate the lag. Okay. So Think Before You Sleep has returned with another anime take. I don't even need to say garbage anime take, because every anime take this guy has is garbage. Like, just consistently, this dude's takes on anime are fucking trash. And what I did learn this week about this guy is he has a multi-decade history of being one of the biggest fucking cuckolds on the internet. Like, constantly flip-flopping on issues. Simping for Brittany Venti. Yeah. Not a particularly good showing for the dude. So, he watched Frieren and didn't like it. So, we're going to go over this very, very long Spurg session that he has about Frieren here and break down everything that he's saying, because this deserves some actual attention. So let's begin. I am so tired of people saying that Frieren is a good show. It sucks. Are people so lost these days that they think a 5 out of 10 show has Breaking Bad levels of writing? Maybe not normies, but in the anime world, so many out of 10 shows get tons of attention and praise. So it's okay to not like Frieren, okay? I think it is one of the best anime I have ever watched. It is in my top 5. I fucking love this series. And well, as evidenced by the fact that I'm doing it right now, I will defend it to death. Or to the death. So, what you're basically conflating here is Breaking Bad's level of like complexity and moral grayness with being good. A good story does not have to be some like deep, thought provoking, like mind bendingly complex sort of thing. A good story can be simple. Like a good Superman story is just Superman saving the day. Okay? You don't have to overthink everything. As for why this show is so absolutely fantastic is because it is a thematic masterpiece. That is my assessment of it. Is that as far as handling a theme goes and tying it into the very bones of your series, Frieren has done it so much better than just about everything else I have watched. But I digress. How many episodes of that show? Oh god, I'm allergic to this bullshit. How many episodes of that show are just nonsense filler? It had to be like 10 to 12. I get that not every episode has to drive the plot forward. Shows can be more episodic in nature, like Avatar: The Last Airbender, where some of the most memorable episodes of that show are technically filler. Or an example of an anime that does that well is Cowboy Bebop. But in Frieren's case, instead of getting a 3 to 5 act story with twists and turns, you get, hey, let's buy red-haired Zenitsu an oversized anime steak for his birthday. Oh, and that's another annoying thing about modern anime. Every character is a fucking archetype and not an actual character. It's so lazy. If I see another guy tilt his chin down and push up his glasses in a fight, I'm going to lose it. Okay, so the first thing I do want to correct is red-haired Zenitsu. First of all, you've turned that into a trope yourself because Stark and Zenitsu are vastly different. In fact, Stark is vastly superior to Zenitsu as a character. Stark is pretty much the epitome of courage, of facing your own fears and being able to overcome them in spite of the fact that you don't want to. Stark doesn't need to be knocked out in order to do stuff. Stark will still take action. And Stark is a very kind-hearted person who is constantly trying to help other people. I mean, in the episodes you're talking about, these filler episodes, it talks about how Stark is constantly wandering around town whenever they stop at a place, helping people out, pulling carts and stuff because he's ridiculously strong. No hate for my boy Stark, okay? Please, no Stark hate, okay? But to sort of talk about what's going on with the series, you have entirely missed the point if you think that there are 10 to 12 episodes of filler. Because I would argue there is 0 filler in Frieren. You've just missed the point. The whole core of Frieren as an anime is that the ordinary is important. It is basically a show about why you should appreciate the ordinary, everyday things of life. That is the whole issue of it, and it boils down to the very concept. Like, no one in the hero's party was a chosen one. In fact, none of them were particularly special. Aizen wasn't particularly... Am I back? Okay, I think I'm back. So Aizen wasn't particularly brave. And Hyder was not particularly pious. Frieren, as much as the show may make her out to be, was not particularly skilled. And Himmel was not a chosen one. that is the whole point of the series, and we can go even further into it about how Flom and Ceri's ideologies on it conflict and how they play out through the entire series. Ceri did not believe that magic should be ordinary. She believed it should be special, something that only the few and the powerful and the exceptional held. Flom was one who wanted magic to be in the hands of everyone. And by putting magic in the hands of even the ordinary people, it eventually led to great things, particularly the defeat of the Demon King. That is the core concept of Frieren. And as they go about their journey, she's constantly reflecting on these mundane things she didn't appreciate as they went through their journey to defeat the Demon King when she was a part of the hero's party. And it's a whole story about this newfound appreciation for life. So if you think that everything that happens in this series is filler, you have gargantuanly missed the fucking point. Hi, JM. How you doing? Nice to see you. And then we go all the way down to like his thing about tropes to sort of finish off this paragraph. Everything has fucking tropes, okay? To some extent, everything is a trope or an archetype. It is all down to how you use it and how you dress it up. And with Frieren, well, it does a really good job of dressing its archetypes and tropes, okay? It does a really good job of doing something innovative and fresh with old ideas. That is why it popped off. So now we get to move on to the next paragraph. So we have 10 or so filler episodes in the show. Then you have a completely wasted story arc where they edge you into thinking they are going to add a priest to the party. Followed by him just randomly leaving. Put his main quest on the same route as the main characters, you idiot. This is a made-up story. You can do whatever you... Oh my fucking god. And you missed the entire point of why that's a... How do you fuck? How the fuck do you not... Christ, I don't even know where to begin with this. Okay, so as far as Sane, that's his name, Sane. As far as Sane goes, he doesn't particularly want to join Frieren. He wants to go find his friend. And this is a vast fucking world. How do you miss the point of him wanting to go find his friend and adventure with his friend? He joins Frieren for a short period of time because they are on a similar path. Put it on the same thing. Well, they have this whole thing about like the point of introducing this of oh god, alcohol and this fucking retardation breaking my brain. The point of introducing Sane into the story was to have that departure at some point where their goals diverted and they said goodbye to the character. Because some of these journeys, some of these trips don't last. Some of these people don't stick around. That was a consistent thing. Like, that was like the whole issue of that episode. Like, you miss the point of the episode where he departs. It's not about him joining the party. It's about the relationship and parting ways. And last, you have a tuning exam arc that was so boring that I genuinely fell asleep during it. I think even the writers got bored of it because I believe it was cut short, followed by the writers spending a bunch of time trying to teach all of the Japanese learners the word gokaku. The importance of this particular arc is you get to see, you finally get to see the difference in the ideologies that Flam and Sayuri had towards magic. Again, like I said, Sayuri was about the exceptional, okay? She was about finding the perfect mage in order to bestow her knowledge upon. And so far, everyone had been a large disappointment. Flam, however, took the approach of spreading magic to as many people as possible so that even the ordinary masses knew about it. And as a result, because of Flam's uh, ideology towards magic, a student came around that for once actually grabbed Sayuri's attention. Who was it? Fern. Because Fern, in spite of seeming utterly normal and utterly ordinary, was able to tell that Sayuri was suppressing her magic. When the ordinary becomes extraordinary. Just saying. This was all so like that whole arc was to establish the world and how it works and the increasing levels of danger going forward, as you would likely see when we get to Mocked of the Golden Land. I love that part of the series, by the way, and I'm still oh god damn. Oh, getting murdered by this cough. The booze certainly helps, doesn't it? The point of the exam was to sort of establish that the danger level going forward was going to increase significantly, and that they had to basically earn permission. It was also to again to do the conflict of ideas between empowering the ordinary or favoring the extraordinary. And it was also to demonstrate that Fern isn't just Frieren's apprentice. She is actually pretty significant in her own right. The pinnacle of Flam and Frieren's ideology that ordinary simple things can be very, very special. The most frustrating part of this is that there are a number of genuinely good possible story arcs to explore, and that the show just doesn't do it. You have a 1,000-year-old autism elf. She's not autistic. She's just an elf with a completely different perception of relationships, who has watched many of her friends die. Is she ever going to show any emotion over it? Any of it? You mean like at the beginning of the fucking series? When she cried over Himmel's death, realizing that she didn't take an interest in him while she could. Have these writers met an old person before and seen how distraught they are when they outlive their friends and family? Dear fucking... You know, this guy really reminds me of what I used to be when I first started doing YouTube. I'm just going to say it. Like, I had some pretty fucking shitty takes like this. Are we going to see any reaction to her being so emotionally shut off that she completely ignored a guy who was so in love with her that he stayed single for his entire life just for a chance to see her like once in 50 years? Frieren's not going to say, hey, I was a real bitch to that guy and I fucked that one up. You mean like the whole point of her trip to the Undying Lands? Or to the Golden... Heaven, basically, her whole reason for journeying to the north so she can speak with Himmel again because she misses him and she wants to talk to him again. Are we going to explore it? That's the whole point of the fucking show. No, this character is going to learn things. No, is this character going to learn things during the show and maybe experience regret over past actions for personal failures? How the fuck do you watch Frieren and not see those things in there? Because that's literally how the show starts. Are we going to maybe explore how Frieren feels about raising a child who she is going to outlive? Maybe she has some reservations about that. Or feelings? Nope. Compare that to a story that did a good job with that exact plot, like Lost Odyssey. You have a character who looks 25 with a son who is like 60. This is the story actually going to introduce a main antagonist? No, because there's not supposed to be a main antagonist. It's a journey of reflection. You're just going to see a couple of demons. Get a really good 15th or 16th episode, and then the next 10 episodes or so are going to be an overused story arc in anime that is basically a public service announcement telling Japanese kids to try hard on their examinations. What? I should expect nothing less from a guy who got ratioed by the fucking slime community. Like, this is absolute pure retardation. I'll wait for some mouth breather to tell me the show hasn't gotten to it yet to say, and to that I say, bro, the show had 20 episodes that it used to pursue its theme and its message. Every single fucking episode. They had plenty of time to do this. This is a TV show, not a Twitch live stream. The content is supposed to be condensed. Do we have to wait for her to get to the Demon Lord's castle before she has any strong feelings about Himmel? Like at the beginning of the... I'm going to stop myself. How does this guy have multiple hundreds of thousands of subscribers, by the way? Because if this is the kind of brain-meltingly retarded... Oh my God. If this is the kind of brain-melting, retarded analysis you can give, fuck, I don't know who the hell... Actually, I probably do. People who don't think. People who just want mindless violence. That's not how people realistically behave. And now you're attributing human motive to an elf who has very different perceptions of time. This shit is so emotionless and forgettable that I actually have to look up the specific reason why they are traveling because I couldn't remember it. Well, clearly you need to re-remember it because you've lost the entire fucking plot while writing this Spurg out session. It's so emotionless. You mean we'll forget about the first episode? We'll forget about the concept of this series supposed to be. Oh my God, words. We're going to forget about the fact that this series is supposed to be about the subtle things in life. We're going to forget about the fact that this series is supposed to be about the ordinary things and why they become special to us, and how after everything's said and done, we'll look back at these ordinary things and be like, I actually really appreciate that moment in life. This is despite the fact that I only watched the show a few months ago, and despite the fact that this FOMO relationship between Frieren and Himmel is such a common and relatable experience. Like I said, this show has good potential, but has terrible execution. No, you just have a really bad concept of what this series is supposed to be. And you have utterly misconstrued everything up until this point. What pisses me off even more is that there are shows like To Your Eternity that do a much better job with the immortality theme that get outshined by praise for shows like Frieren. So the thing about To Your Eternity is, honestly, its writing is very haphazard. And Frieren is less about the consequences of immortality and more so about the ordinary things. Like I've said, it is about reflecting on life and understanding that the ordinary things can be very special, and they are usually the things that we'll look back on and enjoy. I have my bone to pick with To Your Eternity, particularly season 2. Spoilers up to the end of season 2. To Your Eternity has a plot where the kid saves his crush. In the process of saving her, he gets beaten with an ugly stick. He wins her over anyway, but ultimately ends up dying before the relationship gets serious. But that's not the end. Later, the main character realizes the whole time that he had the ability to revive his friend, which means after the ugly kid dies, Gugu, by the way, the kid's name is Gugu. He could have been brought back to life the whole time, and yet the main character only finds out after it was too late. That's storytelling. No, actually, I argue that's fucking retarded writing. No, maybe that's a little bit harsh. I don't think that's actually a very good story. Surprise, you actually could have brought this guy back to life. Okay, well, he can actually bring both those characters back to life right now. As far as I can understand. That makes the audience feel things and have complicated thoughts. Frieren does none of that. Because Frieren isn't about some like deep emotional experience. Again, there is some of that, but the core concept of Frieren is that you should appreciate ordinary life. To Your Eternity has tons of mystery instead of telling you most of the important plot points in the first few episodes like Frieren does. Anime needs to stop starting every show out with the world of Gaia. There was a magical war between the elves and the humans 1,000 years ago, followed by divulging every interesting plot point in the first few minutes. Be like Attack on Titan. Be like Death Note. Those shows tell you nothing and let you... Because they're completely different styles of storytelling. Those shows tell you nothing and let you learn things as the story progresses. And Attack on Titan is pretty good for that, okay? I will give you that. I have no idea why Frieren didn't start the moment she met Fern. The first 4 to 5 episodes were a completely boring... The first 4 to 5 episodes were a completely boring filler arc that would have been much better told... That would have been told much better if we learned about the heroes who killed the Demon Lord through Fern and Frieren's relationship, as well as those other characters in the story. That is the entire impetus for this show. And it is the entire reason we have a framework to look back at those episodes and compare Frieren then to now. Oh my God. No, the first 5 episodes were incredibly integral to the entire narrative. Doing it that way keeps me asking questions, whereas if I am told everything at the beginning, I have no questions to ask, which makes me bored. So you can't appreciate a character-driven story. This story is supposed to be about Frieren appreciating the ordinary things in her life. Consistently missing the point. I generally feel like these writers are just throwing out whatever comes out of their head onto a piece of paper instead of actually outlining and planning their story. Which is crazy because these shows cost millions of dollars to produce. Wait, so does this guy not... Does this guy not know that manga exists? Does this guy not know that manga exists? Oh, fuck.
Oh, nice. Looks like you're gonna have to... Well done.
Oh, jeez. TLDR, Frieren is garbage. Stop giving shows like this so much praise. TLDR, you fucking missed the point. I'll wait for angry fans to not read my reasons for why I hate this show, as they expect me to break down exactly why I don't like an entire show in 240 characters, followed by calling me an anime tourist because they are retarded. Holy fucking projection! Holy what? Okay, we're done with this for now. So we'll put this down, okay? You just projected yourself, everything you just did, onto everyone else there to try and lay blame off of yourself for missing the entire point of the show. Why you hate this show? Because you fundamentally didn't understand what the core concept of it was. In that it is a specific style of storytelling. It is character focused. It is talking about Frieren. And it has a message to appreciate ordinary life while you can. Because it's not going to, those moments aren't going to last forever. Those things that you love will not be around forever. That's why Sane comes into the story and leaves. That's why all of these things are very reflective. That's why it doesn't have some explosive emotional arc to it. The big impetus for it happens in the beginning with Himmel's death and Frieren realizing, wait, I actually really cared about this guy. I should have spent more time with him. Calling me an anime tourist because they are retarded and have horrible taste in shows. First of all, you said Slime was vor, Subaru Natsuki was a piece of shit, ReZero sucked. Holy fuck! What do we expect from a multi-decade cuckold? This shit, apparently. Like, this guy needs to just dip out of the anime community because every time he opens his fucking mouth, he does nothing but spew the most garbage opinions of all time. It proves that he actually didn't pay attention to anything that was happening in the story at all. If you don't like Frieren, that's one thing. That's fine. You do not have to like Frieren, okay? But get your fucking hate right. Be accurate about it. If you're going to hate on the show, actually make sure you understand what you're getting into. Actually make the attempt to try and understand the thing you're working with. This guy did none of that. And then wants to complain about, or talk about how retards are going to give him trouble. God. And I think that's like a huge issue with the anime community is people don't actually, it's a huge divide, actually. I shouldn't say huge issue. It's a huge divide. Where is the here it is. This is what I've been looking for in this. The dude further proves he fucking failed to comprehend everything in this series right here. I know you enjoy the vast amounts of racism in this show, but ultimately, you know I am right. So I just went through everything that was, why you're fucking wrong in all of this. Frieren's not that deep, okay? It's a pretty simple thing to understand. It's not that hard to comprehend what it's saying. It's very blatant with it. This isn't some Evangelion. This isn't some Attack on Titan. It is right there in your fucking face. It is a character-focused story about someone learning to appreciate their life and every moment of it, to live in the moment and enjoy the things that are there while they last. It is not some big epic about a character saving the world or some deep, compound, emotional mess of a story about how someone regrets everything they did. Part of that is an element to it. Yes, I'll give you that. But literally nothing you've said, almost nothing you've said here, I should say, because the stuff about other anime is somewhat correct. But everything you have said about Frieren thus far, think before you sleep. Please think before you post about anime. Because you're clearly a huge fucking retard, okay? Final thoughts on that subject. Honestly, I think, though, that this is the symptom of a much larger scope issue, and that is that there are two very distinct groups of people who enjoy anime. The type who crave meaning and the type who crave excitement. And I think this guy falls into the category of excitement. Frieren is a story for those who like meaning. It may seem mundane, and that's kind of the point. It is about appreciating the mundane, about appreciating the ordinary. And people who say it's boring, well, frankly, I gotta say that you've kind of missed the point. It's not meant to be some like big, high octane action fantasy like Black Clover or some shit. Oh, yeah, that's another thing he goes on to say. That Frieren is an isekai because Frieren is overpowered. Motherfucker, just say you didn't watch the series. Just say you absolutely failed. You know what? He probably watched this series on 2 times speed. In all honesty, he probably watched this series on 2 times speed. Like yeah. Frieren is beautifully crafted. It is art. Do I think it is the greatest thing, like the most exciting thing out there? No. But it's beautiful and it carries a message that I think is very applicable to everyone. Enjoy things while they last. Appreciate the people around you while they're there, because you never know when they're going to be gone. Okay? That's it. Those ordinary things around you should matter. And you shouldn't forget them just because you consider them ordinary or the usual. Nothing in life should be taken for granted. Yeah, no more thoughts. No more thoughts on that subject. I have exhausted everything I have to say about this man's. But God. Dear God, he's retarded. So as long as we're on the Frieren hate train, I guess we're going to pull up this bad boy. Present. Share screen. Here we go. So this one, in the wake of I should be careful with how much of this plays. Oh, not what I wanted to do. So this is the scene where Frieren tells Aura to unalive herself. And this clip is circulated because everyone likes to point to this as like racism or whatever. And this person has some very flawed things to say here. So this line went hard, but not gonna lie, I'll never forgive Frieren for this. Like, I get it, all demons are evil, yada yada, but this is an unbreakable spell where she can make her do anything. She could have helped society as a whole, but she instead murdered her because she hates their kind. First of all, it's not murder. It was war, and then Aura lost. That's how it went. I had my own response. It's never a crime just to exist. Holy fuck, are you delusional? So I had my response somewhere in here. Yeah, so she said, this person said, there is 0% chance this was the optimal way to handle this. Well, actually, the story itself says it is. So it is. This concept is addressed later in the story and explains that the difference in perception between demons and other races make it a dangerous gamble, as proved by Mocked of the Golden Land. Okay, it's a situation very similar to what OP is proposing, if the 2 episodes before didn't solidify it even a little. Yeah. So let's go here because there are some other comments in here. Yeah, there's also the fact that that the idea of an ultimate magic / unbreakable spell is literally addressed in episode 3. Yeah. The reason that this is a very, very bad fucking idea, when it comes to when it comes to the anime is because it's addressed throughout the series. First of all, the demons do not have the same concepts as other races. And when this was attempted, when a kingdom attempted to subjugate one of the demon lord's generals, who voluntarily placed himself there to try and understand humans, by the way, it ended up bringing ruin to the entire kingdom. They were encased in gold. Again, people like fundamentally misunderstanding Frieren. It's hilarious to me that you can miss the point that badly. The demons are not another race. They're basically intelligent animals. They do not, their predation is not based on malice or hatred. It is based on their nature. At their core, they are driven to kill. They are driven to kill, to destroy, and to conquer. They do not raise their own young. They are an incarnation of evil. But it's not a crime to exist, right? Well, if your existence is predicated on the concept of eliminating other races, interesting. You've boiled things down to too simplistic an interpretation, sir, and maybe you should try again another time. But I want to move on to some more happy talk, because holy shit, the Frieren stuff got me fucked, dude. Bring this up. So I have been waiting for a while to see more of Miss Kobayashi's dragon made. And finally, Kyoto Animations is gracing me with something that I actually want to see. Thank God. We get more of this beautiful series that got me into slice of life. Okay? So, sorry. Miss Kobayashi's Dragon Maid. A lonely dragon wants to be loved. Anime film announcement trailer. Film tagline, Bye Bye Kobayashi. A Studio Kyoto animated production. Set to release in 2025. It looks like it's going to be all about Kanakamui, which I completely support because I like the character. She's adorable, okay? Like probably one of my like favorite like I should be careful with how I say it because that might get you in trouble. But one of my favorite like child characters in the series because just adorable, all around likable, a very well done character. Fuck Anya Forger, by the way. She's annoying as shit. I do not like her. Kanakamui is like one of the perfect, like endearing characters you can find in a series. And I feel like there needs to be more respect for that character. Because you basically have a child living in the human world that is far more powerful than even the greatest military powers of our world. And she's just a toddler, basically, wanting attention from people. And she runs away from home like a toddler would. She complains about, yeah. Either way, I'm looking forward to this series because, well, it's going to be entertaining. I'd missed Dragon Maid. I'm glad to see it's finally coming back. I've been wondering when they were going to do that because the series has been immensely popular. And as long as we are on the subject of Kyoto Animation, Nichijou Creator's City manga is getting an adaptation by Kyoto Animation. It is the first new project by Kyoto Animation in 6 years, which, if you don't know, there was a huge incident with Kyoto Animation about 6 years ago where they were the victim of an arson attack over false allegations that they had stolen someone's idea. Yeah, it was fucked. Like 30-something people died in the attack. It was brutal. So to see that they're finally like bringing back some of like the stuff that I really liked from them. I don't know if I should say that they're like this is their like first time back since then. Is heartening. And I'm glad to see that they're kind of getting back into the full swing of things. And before I move on into like some of like the loose, like the dollar bin topics for the night, the things that I just sort of collect because I can. We're going to talk about a bit of an indie project that I've been tagged in literally right as this show went live. Right as this show came up, Jared Christman tagged me in this post about his movie, Missouri Breaks, The Ballad of Missouri Bill. This is an entirely independent Western movie. And while it may not be the most fit and polished thing, what I have seen of it looks really good. I'm excited to see where he's going with this. It has me interested. And I did want to give a bit of a shout out because he has tagged me in these posts. I used to do these sorts of call outs for indie projects a lot, but I haven't really been able to like buy a lot of them or like throw money at them, because right now I am looking at a PC and getting a proper setup so that I can enjoy um, my hobbies more, and maybe produce a little bit better content for those of you who have actually been around and stuck it out and who are consistent viewers. That would be like more gaming streams, better stream quality, yada yada, all that kind of stuff. But yeah, that's just wanted to quickly shout out Jared Christman. If you really want to keep up with his movie, you want to see like where you can actually go check it out. I would encourage you to, because the dude's cool. Has put in a lot of work to producing that thing. I think it looks worth the time, especially for an independent project. So I'm hoping at some point I get the opportunity to see it, but right now I have not gotten the chance. Let's go. All right. Go to animated topics. See if there's anything else that I need to go. Yeah. Let's go here. We will bring this up. So, everyone's probably seen these. So this last one here, he convinced everyone that it was going to be Kagurabachi, and then switched it over to the scene where Subaru Natsuki is hunting down Rem in the forest in the Roswell domain. Honestly, love this guy's art all around. Looks very, very good. And that particular piece, just because it's Subaru Natsuki, has me interested. However, he then followed it up with stuff like this. So he made a sketch of Chihiro and Shadow fighting Subaru Natsuki, and then followed it up immediately with this piece. I owe you for that apple fritter, Subaru Natsuki. I just wanted to show it off because this guy's art fucking great. I love his sense of humor with all this. It's brilliant. I appreciate it, and I wanted everyone to see that. In the meantime, we do have another thing to comment on. I'll bring this up. Maybe I should find the actual post instead of just that one. Here we go. Let's bring this up. If it'll load the images. Come on. So, what went wrong, this person says, about the Komi art? Now, if you ask me, I think this second one actually looks better than the first one. My honest opinion on the matter. This one, the second one, feels so much more alive than the first one. And of course, this spawned a lot of hate for the Komi art. I don't get it. I thought I never had a problem with the art. I don't think it's a bad thing. I think that actually looks quite attractive. So I don't understand why everyone had to then go and try and shit on the newer art for the series. It didn't make sense to me. Let's bring that down. So that was a thing. Honestly, I think the second one looks better. I don't really think it's, like I said, these are the dollar bin topics that I had to go and find, or random things that I thought I would want to bring up and just quickly comment on. Okay. This one is actually something that I feel somewhat personally about. So, Mary S2, the Hyoka fan artist who was steadily drawing amazing illustrations for years, now have decided to delete all their work on Pixiv too after deleting everything from their Twitter. Years of hard work have disappeared. So basically, this artist was bullied because people didn't like what they were doing, and they like. I'm not exaggerating when I say that Mary deleting her account is one of the biggest tragedies of the anime community as a whole. You don't realize how incredible you have to be to consistently make a 10-plus-year-old anime as relevant as she did. You losers bullied her off the internet. Like, I don't know the full story behind it, but I don't give a fuck. You bullied someone who's drawing shit like this. Okay, now it's going to load. Eru Chitanda is the name of the character, by the way, from Hyoka. An excellent mystery series. Let's see. I forget the main character's name, but I like that. It's cute. And it's sad. Viewers who only talk about things that are popular. One of the biggest reasons I watched Hyoka this year. What was this bullying? I'm not sure the exact bullying cause. I found out recently because I think they were making fun of them for just making fan art on one series for years, and a semi-forgotten series at that. Why was she bullied? Oh, here we go. Here we go. But the actual hate was from their fan arts as a couple, specifically in which they were sexualized and progressing things up, which wasn't in the original yet. And even faced severe racism because of it. And it was going on for more than 2 years. So I want a follower. I want followers who trust me and money. You're a ooh. Ooh. Ooh, okay, yeah, that's pretty fucking brutal. Yeah, that's kind of fucked. That's sad because I like that series, and I've seen some of those illustrations come across my feed. So it is a shame to see them go. Already talked about this. Oh yeah, Alia season 2 was officially announced. Right as all the haters who were talking about how bad it was, were celebrating that it was finally over. Season 2 immediately gets announced like the same day. The same day. Something I'll talk about. Now we're just gonna keep rolling. Oh, yeah, there's this. I should bring this up. I kind of do want to talk about this because when it comes to dub v sub, I kind of do both, depending on the series. And I'll be watching this one sub because honestly, after comparing it, I feel like the sub is far superior. I actually watched Don to Don, the first encounter in theaters last week. Great. Love it. amazing, fantastic. I am so excited for this series, guys. I only wish I could have gone and seen the ReZero theatrical premiere. That is my only regret. But here we go. This is the official dub.
Nah, I don't believe in UFOs and aliens and that kind of stuff.
There's no such thing as ghosts.
Huh?
Oh, is it killing my audio? Come on. Seriously? Fuck you.
The U.S. military admitted UAPs exist and reformed their space force. Don't you see everyone's gearing up for war in space?
I don't care!
Compared to the Japanese version, honestly, it feels like it lacks so much passion. Like, it sounded so, like, you could tell the actors were so much more in character when you were watching the Japanese version.
Just got dumped!
If I were you, I'd forget all about getting rid of me.
Turbo Granny doesn't sound too terribly bad, and again, I apologize for the awful audio because, yeah, I can't control that. I think that's a Streamlabs thing. StreamYards. I like the music, like the soundtrack to it, I feel like is very fitting. I do find it very entertaining.
To regain reproductive function, we require the use of your banana organs.
Not bad. Not the worst dub I've ever heard. I mean, if we're going to talk about good dubs, I might as well bring up the other one I've got in here. Where the fuck is it? Here it is. Let's bring this up. So, actually, I really do like Subaru's English performance in many of his scenes. The voice actor for Subaru actually commented on this. It was very interesting. But this scene.
What's going on?
Aw, don't do this to me. You can't do this to me. How dare you? Okay, well, I guess I'm not going to be able to show it. This is why, people. I need a PC. Because I need to hardwire my connection, and I can't do that with my fucking laptop. So, unfortunately, I can't show you the glory of... It's actually a really good performance on his part. Suck, man. Suck. All right. Guess we'll get rid of that. Let us go to bookmarks. And we'll finish it off with trailers and like upcoming stuff that has my interest. So this is where I go and stuff all the things that sort of catch my interest. So new Pug X Yakuza action comedy Inu, Girl Meets Dog by Onuma Ryuki and Komaru Hikari. Started in Weekly Young Magazine, issue 39, 2024. Violent, action-packed violent action comedy about a talking stray pug who's waiting for someone to pick him up in the streets. He happens to save a young woman from rape and abduction, and the girl agrees to take him in afterwards. As it turns out, she's not a normal girl, but a Yakuza clan daughter. Luckily, the pug isn't a regular dog either, but a super strong, badass fighter. And like, let's be honest, this art looks fucking incredible. That alone is the reason that I'm going to be looking for this. Because holy shit, that's funny. Next one. Oops. So my wife remained a child inside. Always with these names kind of touching on some weird, like risque stuff. What is sex? Pure wife rom-com about the life of a newlywed couple. Everything is great. However, there's one big problem. The cute and voluptuous wife has a very naive and innocent personality and doesn't know a thing about sex. Her husband, on the other hand, struggles to convey what he desires. And to be fair, it does things to me, chat. Oh, God. Where is it?
Don't get a boner. Don't get a boner.
Yeah. So let's bring this one up. This was another one. Mairimashita to Iwasetai. So yeah, this is the volume 1. Looks like a youth romance about 2 high school kids who are part of rival Yakuza clans. A serious girl wants to keep the sweet talking boy at a distance, but maybe his feelings for her are indeed genuine. How long can she withstand his advances? And just that initial artwork there has me intrigued. This is another one that caught my eye. Magilumiere Co. Ltd. So this is supposed to come out in October. And as far as the animation goes, I think I'm very interested in what's going on here. Excuse me. Like I said, for some reason when I'm talking for a long time, I get stuffed up. About a college girl joining a magical girl specialized startup company. Looks like it could be fun. I'm not a huge Magic Girl fan, but there are some like specific series that I do end up enjoying. Okay, so the cultural exchange with Game Center Girl, a rom-com by Yashiro Kazu about a boy working part-time at a gaming center. Bonds with a cheerful game-loving girl from England. So looks like it's going to be a more shoujo style series. Here's one that at least the concept of it seemed like it could be interesting, but it's not like I'm putting a whole lot of hope in it. So somehow I started living with a neat otaku kunoichi in January 2025. Oh dear. I'm not playing audio because I don't want to get capped. Looks like one of those goofy things I would check out on a whim. Yaiba anime by Studio Wit. This actually looks really good. This is one that I think I definitely will be checking out. Like this all looks like it kind of reminds me of Dragon Ball, to be honest, with like some of the art style and look like very like early shonen stuff. So gonna check it out. Looks like it could be flashy, sort of fun. We will see about it. Been there. All right, let's go with this one. Oh, we can get rid of that. I left my A rank party to help my former student reach the dungeon. Again, with these really long titles, honestly, I am kind of sick of them. But this one looks like it could be somewhat interesting. I do like my fantasy stuff, but this looks like it might be leaning a little too much into pop fantasy for me. They seem to be using a whole lot of like magic tech to justify a bunch of stuff that happens in the plot. So I guess we'll see how it pans out. Either way, it looks entertaining enough. Let's go here. Get rid of that. All right, so coming of age rom-com R15 Jadame desu ka? Volume 8. So this actually has multiple volumes already. Teenage girl who was raised in a very sheltered. Okay, so this is another one of those like etchy things. I don't remember why I put it in here. We'll skip that one. We'll skip that one. Cosmos, though, this actually looks somewhat interesting. It takes a boring subject and actually makes it appear somewhat fun. Sorry. I should have muted my mic for that. I'm sorry. So, Cosmos, Volume 4 by Beelzebub creator Tamura Ryuhei. Sci-fi action drama about a high school student teaming up with a strange alien girl to work as intergalactic insurance investigators. Could be fun. Again, it takes a very boring concept. So we've already talked about City. Talked about Miss Kobayashi's Dragon Maid. And here we go. I forget what this. Oh yeah, it was Murder Mystery of the Dead or something like that. TV, anime, whatever the actual fuck this is. I despise this full 3D look, okay? Like everyone talked about like girls band Cry and stuff like that. I do not like this whatsoever. It looks like shit compared to 2D animation. It looks like you stuck a bunch of VTuber models into an engine and tried to animate them. We got our X-Arm of 2023. TV, anime, whatever the actual fuck this animation. Fuck is this animation? Please cancel it ASAP. Officially announced. Yes, I agree. For once, I do not feel the need to shit on Annie Suni, even though the dude is a bit of a fucking doink. What was this? May I ask for one final thing? Oh, this is the noble chick who puts on like brass knuckles and fights people. My fucking brother just sent me something, and now I'm terrified to look at it. Yeah, this bitch looks like she's about to fight everyone in a ballroom, so probably will end up checking this one out because it looks somewhat interesting. Don't need that. Does it even give me it doesn't give me a premise. Damn it. I don't remember putting this one in there. Demon Lord 2029 or 2099. Oh yeah, this one looked actually kind of cool, although I'm judging everything based on its like surface level value, so I could be entirely wrong. Looks like it might be a better version of The Devil is a Part-Timer. And then there's this one, which I actually kept up with this one back when it was like a web novel thing. And I'm hoping they don't go too off the rails like the web manga, or sorry, I should say web manga, like that did with some of its sort of wacky plot happenings. And I hope they focus a little bit more on the romance plot of it, because when they started actually doing that part of it, it was actually somewhat interesting and I did kind of enjoy it. Oh, what? It just, what? I need to clear some of these out. I've been, oh, no. No. Damn it. Yeah, Rolo did say he was going to be on here, but then he texted me saying he was going to have to like take care of some stuff after he got out of his meeting. So, reincarnated as aristocrat. I'm probably not going to. Leviathan. So this looks like it might be somewhat interesting, but there was like heavy CGI. Like World War One steampunk. That's an interesting concept, so I gotta hand it to you. That is, but it's a Netflix anime, so who knows how it's gonna go. We've been over Dandadan. I can remove that. Oh yeah, Shoshimin getting a season 2. Very excited about that. There's nothing particularly. I got married. I already talked about that. Sakamoto Days. Honestly, from what I've seen, it looks like it's going to be a more action-packed version of Spy Family. It is basically the world's great anime John Wick, pretty much, except for maybe a little bit more wholesome. World's greatest assassin decides he's going to leave the industry and get married, and you cut to his life years later, and he's like a middle-aged married dad with an elementary.
引退結婚そして
I gotta say, the music's a fucking bop. I don't know why I have this up still. Scroll past all of these, but yeah, I mean the anime actually looks better than like the manga. I read maybe like 3 volumes and dropped it because I didn't find it particularly interesting. Maybe I'll enjoy it more. This, however, is the one that really shocked me. Virgin Punk. I don't know what that's supposed to mean, but like the show itself looks like it would be something I would watch and enjoy. I mean, just the movement animation to this is insane.
懸賞金を受け取る条件。違法相馬ディア指名手配犯の脳を警察に持ち込む。ターゲットの選手は不問。歯が入らない。意味わかんない。
見つけた。これは俺の愛だ。俺一人で狩る。
さて、ぶっ殺してやっからな。いた。
14歳のあの頃に戻って新しい人生を生きる。
I'm just hoping I'm not let down by this trailer.
お金が必要だって言って。
Or by this anime because of this trailer.
あんたの懸賞金。
ニューヒロインの誕生だ。
I lost touch. Oh, okay. Are we back? Am I back in this? Working. So the fragrant flower blooms with dignity. Looks like another shonen romance, which I will probably end up checking out. Terminator Zero. I already told everyone early in the stream. Terminator Zero sucks ass. It's boring as shit. Oh, but that looks like it's the end of all the trailers and stuff I wanted to talk about. And honestly, it looks like it might just have to be the end of the stream because kind of out of things to talk about now. And it's almost at the 2-hour mark. So maybe I'll call it. My internet's starting to bug out. It might be a good idea to just say hasta la bye-bye. So next week, kind of already know what I'm doing. If I'm, streaming, I have a concert coming up next weekend, and that might end up interfering with what I do on Saturday. We'll see though. Either way, two things I do want to announce here at the end of the stream. One, I am planning on doing a birthday stream on Tuesday because I turned 25 on the 24th. So I think what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be going and reacting to some of my old videos and criticizing my own work. Okay. Talking about what I did wrong. Yeah, it's going to be confronting some of my worst choices of all time on the internet. It's gonna be, and then after that, next week, which would probably be the 28th, I will be doing a full summer wrap / introduction to fall anime stream. We're going to be talking about everything that's going to be coming out. We're going to be talking about everything that came out this summer and what the best of it was and what was worth watching and why, which kind of already done. But by that point, a lot of the stuff that you can watch for the seasonals will have been wrapped up, and we can go into some full detail. Hopefully, we'll have some more people around. Either way, I have been Crimson Law, and if you want to keep up with me, I am on Twitch at Crimson Law 4110. I have a main channel, Crimson Law, that is not my Crimson Live channel that I am streaming on right here, right now. And you can also find me on Twitter at Crimson Lawson, because I changed that to fit a joke. Either way, if you've tuned in this far, I appreciate it. I hope you go check out some of my other stuff. I have videos that I try to post at least once a week, and I may start cutting some of these segments out of my live stream and posting them on my main channel again. But only the ones that I find especially good. So, that said, I'm going to wrap it here, and we're going to have someone play us out. How about Crimson?
My problem is that you're a real asshole. People tell me that a lot.